time for part 2. So first and foremost, I hope you guys enjoyed part 1. I had a lot of footage to sift through. It was like maybe like 45 minutes of footage from Winter Jam. I decided to break the video up a bit because I did want to have this bit at the end where I kind of just talk about it. Before I get into it real quick, I want everybody to go ahead and like and subscribe. Click the notification button. That way you know when I'm posting. You can stay up to date with all my videos. And share the video. Leave a comment if you can. Go ahead and share a video with people. It helps spread the channel and I greatly appreciate it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into my experience at Winter Jam this year. So Winter Jam was awesome. Okay, before I really get into it, most of this part 2 is really going to be me talking about me getting to meet KB, my favorite artist. I'll have some pictures up of it when I start to talk about it. Before I get to that, which is the meat of really what I want to talk about, again, for those of you who don't know, Winter Jam is a huge Christian music tour that is held every year. Selected Christian artists are on tour together for, I don't even know, I want to say like 3 months straight out of a year for the winter, and they go on tour throughout the country, and it's really incredible. They reach so many lives. They lead so many people to Christ every year. I think the number this year was like 5,000 or something like that. Seeing the amount of hands of people who decided to give their lives to Christ that night was incredible. But yeah, so now let me go ahead and talk to y'all about meeting KB. I became a Christian when I was 13. KB became my favorite artist when I was 15 because I heard a song that he made with Lecrae called Sideways. And so I heard that in 2015. So he's been my favorite artist for 7 years now. So like I said in the video, the price was $125, which for me wasn't that bad because a friend of mine that I met at Winter Jam the year prior gave me $100. So I really only spent and then a friend of mine owed me money. So I really only spent like $5 on it. And it came with this hoodie. It came with a free shirt. It came with a beanie and a signed poster. And so for me, it was like, that was like it was a no-brainer. I get to meet my favorite artist for $5 and get a bunch of free merch too that I was planning on buying to begin with. And also more part of the backstory, I also met KB once before in 2019, right before COVID, because I was a student still at LSUS, and there's this Red River Rally that's held every year that I think that'll be in the summer. But it happens in the summer where they get certain, again, Christian music artists to come out. And 2019, they had it held at LSUS in like the backyard of the campus, so to speak. And KB was there. He was the last act, and I got to talk to him for a second. Talk to him about his favorite Bible verse and things of that nature. So that was awesome. But this year, got to meet him again. How we got there was they take us downstairs into this private area. It took a minute before he came in, but that was fine. When he came in, I didn't realize that the line was going to start on the other side of the room, but whenever I realized it, I was happy because that meant I was going to be one of the last people, which meant I had time to really think about what I wanted to say. I'm one of the last people to go up, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, okay, what should I ask him? I'm like, I only get really one chance to get a picture with him, tell him how much he means to me, and ask him for a pic and ask him a question. That's basically all you really got. To somebody that's my favorite artist, there's so much that I want to talk about. So I'm like, what's the most meaningful thing that I could talk to him about in this brief moment? To not waste his time or anybody else's time, but also to have a memorable moment with my favorite artist. And it clicked to me. I'm somebody I've been a Christian for a decade now, and I never wanted to be in ministry. I never wanted to be a leader in the church or anything like that. I've been called to ministry, trying to maintain a joyful stance and posture with it. For me, it's been difficult, I think, because I've always tried to not be in ministry. And now that I find myself in ministry, it's just like, I can see this is where God wants me to be, but I'm wrestling with me never wanting to do it, and now God is calling me to do it. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask KB, how can I, be constantly encouraged rather than flipping back and forth from one day I'm encouraged to be in ministry, the next day I'm discouraged. It's finally my turn. I get up to meet him. I go in, he recognizes me before I shake his hand. He remembered me from 2019. I get up there, we talk about that, tell him how he's my favorite artist, and then I get to my question. I ask him how I never wanted to be in ministry, and now that I am, I struggle with the back and forth of I want to do this versus I don't want to do this. I want to do this because this is what God is calling me to, but I also don't want to do this because of how heavy that role really is and how heavy that burden really can be. And so I ask him the question, and he gives a really knowledgeable answer that I didn't think of. He gave a very wise judgment on it and viewpoint, because he is in ministry. And so he told me some things. The first thing he told me was, number one, you have to understand that because you go back and forth, that's a good thing and that's a normal thing, because it's a good thing because it shows that you care. Otherwise, you wouldn't be discouraged, because your discouragement is not coming from necessarily fear of your inability to do it. It's more so coming from you understand the position that you hold, which is a good thing, because some people are in ministry and are in leadership and don't understand their position really. And he was like, so that's a good thing, because it shows that you are aware of how precious your position is to God. So that should be an encouragement to you in and of itself. And then he also lent a kind of personal encouragement. He was like, and you should also be encouraged to know that people like me also get moments of discouragement or moments of fear, where he was like, I get nervous before every show. That kind of like dropped my nervousness about it, and dropped my like the wall emotionally that I had built up from wanting to be in ministry. So that was my favorite thing about that. And then, we took a picture. I got him to sign the poster. But yeah, so that was my experience with KB, and I'm just thankful, because then after that, went upstairs and back to the homies at the squad, listened to Colton Dixon, and then Skillet came out and I lost all my hearing in my voice. Then we went to Waffle House and joked about glizzies all night. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so that was my time at Winter Jam. I enjoyed it. If you haven't gone, I would suggest that you try to figure out how you can go to one next year. So again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all those good things. I hope y'all enjoyed. I got more content on the way.